Hello and good morning, Facebook family and everybody else watching today. It's Holly here from I Go Yoga, and today I have a question for you. As always, we start with a question. Do you feel like you have 1,000,001 things to do, but feel like you get absolutely nothing done? Do you feel so overwhelmed mentally by all of the things that you need to do that you just don't even start? You don't even take the first step to achieve anything. Or maybe you feel like you've got a lot to do, but you always seem to put off those very important tasks until the last minute, until the deadline comes. Is that you? Well, I can certainly relate because I'm one, in the past to regularly miss deadlines, to always be late, and I really needed to do something about that. So if you don't know me by now, I'm Holly, as I said, and I help people to live with less stress and a hell of a lot more joy using yoga, meditation, and mindful guidance. So I just want to say good morning to everybody who's joining us today. I can see some regular faces already, and I just want to say, if you would like to join us for any of our upcoming live online yoga meditation classes, you're more than welcome to join us. We'd love to have you part of the community. Just simply go to igowithholly.com and you can see our full timetable there. But right now we have a live guided meditation practice that is going ahead, and we thought we would go live for the first part of the session just so you can gain some insight if you're out there, or maybe you're sitting on the fence and you're not quite sure what I Go Yoga is all about. Well, hopefully this will give you a little snippet, a little idea as to what we're about and what you can expect from one of our live online practices. And then we'll say goodbye to you guys, and with the private community we'll then head into our to prep our mind and our body using mantra, using chanting, using breath work, and then we'll go into a guided meditation practice today so we can overcome procrastination, become more organized and productive, and live life with more meaning. We all want that, right? So here's what you're going to learn today. Well, you're going to learn why maybe you feel like that deer in headlights and you feel like you just can't seem to get anything done, okay? You're also going to learn what you need to focus on so you can get back in the driver's seat of your life and become more organized and more productive. That sounds good, right? And you're also going to learn how to declutter your mind so you can focus on the most important task or most important thing at hand. So before we begin, once again, if you're just joining in, I can see there's a few people checking in. Good morning, everybody. Just want to say, if you would like to join us for any live online yoga meditation practices, then please go over to igowithholly.com and you'll find our full timetable, our full schedule there. So back to topic then. So do you feel like, you're always racing against the clock? The moment your alarm goes off in the morning, it's like the horn on a race, and you just feel like maybe you're hitting that snooze button over and over again, but then eventually you find yourself dragging yourself out of bed, and then the rat race begins. You're frantically running around getting things done for the day. You may be getting dependents ready, getting everything ready for the day, and then you're rushing off, stuck in traffic, you're late for work, most time if you're not in COVID anyway, and you're just finding that you're always on the go. Once you get to work, or maybe you get to your desk, you're just on from one thing to the next, and you just feel like you're so busy that you just never seem to get to the end of your to-do list. Yeah, the to-do list is never done. It's never complete. It's always continuously piling up, whether it be work commitments, whether it's be to file important documents that have been sitting on your desk gathering dust, whether you need to make important phone calls, maybe it's to look after dependents, maybe you have elderly family members, along with the washing up, along with the laundry, along with dyeing your roots, along with mowing the lawn, and getting everything else done in between, you know, like we're always on the go. We don't stop, you know, and as soon as we finish one task, we are, or even before we finish the first task, we're already thinking about the next task. And that is what life is like from the moment we get up in the morning to the moment we go to bed. I don't know whether, can you relate to that? Do you feel like you're constantly on the go? You're constantly moving from one thing to the next? Well, this is the competitive race against time to really tick these things off. And, you know, some people do call this the rat race, where we get stuck in that perpetual cycle of doing the same thing day in, day out, and secretly hoping that something's going to change, yeah? And, you know, and it takes something like COVID-19 to come along, you know, this opposing force, to really shake you and wake you up out of the, you know, the rhythm, the hypnotic rhythm that you found yourself in. So, you know, this doing and doing and doing and more doing can be so extremely exhausted, leaving very little time, very little room for you to focus on maybe what's really important in your life, like your family, and maybe your social life, getting out with your friends and socializing, and maybe even more importantly, you time, you know, you time, having time with yourself to just be and do nothing, you know? How often do we have that? Not very often. So eventually, all of this doing eventually does lead to burnout. And unfortunately for myself, you know, in 2013, I fell ill with pneumonia. I was in hospital on my deathbed and I almost died. And, you know, I tell you that story to, you know, help you to realize that, you know, we all go through pain in our life. We all go through suffering, but it's not to just say, oh, well, these things just happen, you know, we just get pneumonia. No, there are a sequence of events that happen before that. And for myself, you know, the events that led me up to having pneumonia was because I was constantly on the go. I was so young, spending all of my vital energy and resources to, you know, get things done. And I didn't realize that all the while what I was doing was actually depleting myself and, you know, sending myself to an early grave. So, you know, we have all of these high expectations of ourselves, and we expect so much from ourselves that, you know, we end up burning ourselves out. And this is because we have so many beliefs from, you know, that stem from our early childhood, you know, beliefs around hard work. You know, your parents tell you when you grow up, you know, you got to work hard because hard work pays off, you know, and then we get caught up in this mindset where we're trying to, you know, we're worrying about what other people think about us, and we're trying to please other people. So many of our to-dos throughout the day, you know, go around getting things done that, you know, like getting your nails done because you're worried about your friends going, oh, you know, look at her nails, you know. We worry about things that really should be none of our concern. There's so much bigger, better things for us to be thinking about, for us to be giving our energy to. But, you know, while we're stuck in that rat race, while we're doing, you know, we're using all of this mental power, and then we're using that physical power to action. And then, you know, this is causing us to, like I said, spend and use that vital energy that we just haven't got. And this has such a negative impact on our lives, on our mind, on our body, on our relationships, on our life in the long term. Because let's face it, spending energy creates stress in the body. When you spend your energy constantly and you don't take the time to cultivate energy or to refuel, then you are only going to lead yourself to burnout. So over time, we're going to feel depleted. You know, your to-do list will just start getting the better of you. You'll feel like you start to let things slip, you know, you start to let yourself off the hook because you just haven't got the energy or the motivation to, you know, complete the tasks. And this causes even more stress. So we end up caught up even in an even bigger cycle of deprivation there. So, you know, then you know, we get to a point where we wake up in the morning and we haven't got that enthusiasm and all that energy to just jump out of bed. And then we end up maybe just lying in bed and hitting that snooze button. And then we just start thinking about all of those to-dos, all of those things that we have to get done. And just thinking about them makes you feel exhausted. I don't know whether you can, you know, relate to that. Have you been there where you've only got to think about what you've got to do and you're already tired, you know? How could you even face doing those things when you've already worn yourself out? So, you know, before you know it, you're overwhelmed, you're procrastinating, and, you know, your life is chaotic all around you. Your life just seems like it's falling apart. And you just feel like you're sinking down, you know, you're in that sand and you're just sinking down and you just don't know what to tackle first. Well, you know, I can certainly relate to that. I'm sure, you know, if I can relate to that, I know that, you know, someone who's listening can. And so, you know, let's just imagine for a moment, let's, you know, create the same scenario, but let's have an image for it. So let's just imagine that you have a desk and you have to operate your life from this desk, but you have never taken the time to declutter it. And every day and over time, you have accumulated so much stuff on that desk that you can't even see the surface of the desk. You've got loose paperwork everywhere. It's all piled up. It's not in order. You know, you've got important calls coming through, but you just can't seem to find your phone on the desk. You can hear it, but you can't see it. And because of this, you're missing opportunities and important deadlines. And then, you know, you've got post-it notes everywhere with all of your to-dos on, but you can't remember, you know, what needs to come first. And, you know, so it would be pretty difficult, wouldn't it, to operate your life on that desk, you know, using that desk. It would be really difficult for you to be organised and to have a productive life if you were operating from that very messy, untidy desk, especially when you can't even find a pen to write the things that you need to get done down, you know? So, you know, we just wouldn't know where to start. And, you know, maybe you're thinking now, yeah, well, Holly, you know, I get that, but my desk is tidy and I still feel unorganised. But I want you to remind you now that the desk is really a metaphor for your mind. Okay, the desk is a metaphor for your mind. It represents your mind. So many of us spend our time actually cleaning and tidying our physical desk. Yeah. And we wonder why we're still, you know, unorganized. We wonder why we're still procrastinating when everything's in the right place, everything's color coded. But it's not to tidy what's outside of you and get order in your outside world. It's to gain order and clarity in your inner world. And if you haven't got order in your mind, if your mind is like that very messy and untidy desk, and you don't take time to clean that out every day, then almost certainly that is going to reflect in your outer world, and you will be unorganized. You will feel like you're in that rat race, and you will feel like, you know, exhausted and depleted at the end of the day. So how do we then get order in the mind? Well, it starts by really beginning to understand yourself, okay? And, you know, for us to really get order in the mind, we must have an image of the mind. So let's say that the mind, say it's the head right now, and really the head is really the brain, and the brain is the tool of the mind. The mind is no more the brain than it is the fingernail, you know, so the mind is everywhere. So for us to have an image of the mind, we have to, let's just use the head as a representation, and let's divide our head into two parts. So we have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is where you do all of your thinking. This is the intellectual mind. This is the logical mind, the thinking mind, where you make all of your decisions. And then deep underneath that conscious mind sits your subconscious mind. And this is where all of your ideas, all of your beliefs, all of your habitual patterns lie. Okay, and we operate, you'd think we'd operate from here, from the conscious mind, the thinking mind, wouldn't you, most of the day? But actually, science has proven that we spend 95% of our days in the subconscious mind, in the subconscious realms. So we are playing out those very automatic habits. So we're not thinking and moving through our day with awareness. We are just reacting based on habit. We're reacting based on conditioning. So the first step to having a more organized and productive, meaningful life is by understanding yourself and understanding that you are operating from some deep-rooted paradigms, that is a habitual collection of beliefs that are governing what you do and how you spend your time each day. And for us to be able to make a conscious shift here from the subconscious into the conscious mind, so we can actually decide for ourselves how our life is played out and get back in that driver's seat of life, we have to become aware of where we are at in any given moment. One of the ways, one of the only ways for me to be able to do that is through meditation. Meditation has just been a godsend for me. And people say, oh my, meditation is religious. It's attached to all of these negative things in life. And I think, let's just take away the word meditation for now. Let's just keep it real simple, shall we? Meditation is simply quiet time. It is quiet time. Meditation means madaru, which means to become familiar with. So when you sit down and have that quiet time, you're stilling the body, you're stilling the mind. It gives you an opportunity to become familiar with what you are thinking about most of the time. Okay? And when you become familiar with what you're thinking about most of the time, you'll recognize that a lot of how you feel, your emotions are governed by, anxiety. You have this anxiety. Anxiety is coming from what? When you sit down and you meditate, you become familiar with this anxiety and realize that it's because you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about something that hasn't even happened yet, that hasn't even unfolded. So you're going to be actively rushing through your day to get to that next task, without recognizing that the power to create a beautiful future that has more meaning happens right now in the present moment. You'll also experience the worry. When you sit down and you become familiar, you'll go, oh my God, I've been worrying so much. And then you'll realize that this worry actually comes from past events, things that have come and gone. Like, we could go back and change them if we wanted to, but we still worry about all of the things that we didn't get done. And then we move those things out of the past and throw them into the future. Then we become anxious about getting them done in the future, not realizing that the only power is now. So that's why I love meditation, because for you to become more organized and productive, it's about getting order in here. And order in the mind will bring you the mental clarity and the focus that you need to work on whatever needs to be worked on that day. Whatever your number one focus is, whatever your number one priority should be. And that's probably not going to the bank or filling out forms or, making those important phone calls. As much as those things need to get done, going into yourself and tuning into your own mind and body will enable you to recognize what's really important to you, okay? Whether that be family is important to me, spending time with family and friends. And I know this for certain, I've been caught up in that rat race too, having my own studio and going to work every single day and, getting caught up in the small trivial to-dos and not actually taking the time to actually recognize what's really, really important. So when you take that time to meditate, when you slow down, you actually become so much more aware of what you've been giving your energy to. And then when you discover that, you have then the ability, the choice to be able to change it, okay, consciously. And it is through that repetition. Remember, we're only spending 5% of our day conscious, so we might as well do it and be free from all distractions. So that's why we meditate. And the more you can do that, the more you spend time to do that each day, you will be able to cut yourself free of all of the deep-rooted beliefs like hard work pays off, you got to work harder, you know, to get what you want in life. And you'll realize that these narratives that you've been telling yourself are not actually the real truth. When you meditate, you become aware and be able to see things as they really are. Okay, you get to see things as they really are. So maybe you've been really busy, you've been stressed at work, and then you realize, I've been earning the money that I've wanted to earn for 10 years, and I've got all the money that I need in the bank to fulfill the life of my dreams. I have everything I need. I've got my family, I've got my friends, I've got my house, I've got all these things. What's really important to me? Do I need to strive for that next promotion? What I've been focusing on, what I've been so driven to move towards, do I really need to focus on that? Or do I need to reprioritize and reorganize what's important and then work towards that? Okay, and I think that will help you to really create so much more space in your life for you then to actually be more organized. That order that you have in your mind will transfer out into your everyday life, into your work, into your relationships, into your health, into every aspect of your life. But while you are busy in the unconscious mind, in that subconscious, playing out all of those repetitive habits, while you're busy doing that, you're burning yourself out. Let's stop, let's pause, let's slow down, and let's come from a very conscious perspective so we can actually create space to actually decide on what's really, truly important. And that will enable you to then move closer to where you want to go. And for me, I meditate, and then I come out of my meditation, I'm like, right, I'm creating a vision board right now for my future. So I get all of these pictures, I print them all off, and I put them on a big vision board, and then I make a list. What needs to get done for me to move towards that vision board? What tasks need to get done for me to be able to go and live out in the East, the Far East, not the Middle East, the Far East. What tasks need to get done for me to get that ideal body, or to achieve that posture, or whatever it is that you want, in life. And that will bring you more meaning, and then you can begin to move towards that in life, because you're always going to be chasing a to-do list. The to-do list is never going to be done. So you might as well have a to-do list that brings you meaning, that adds value and joy and happiness into your life. So I hope that's giving you value. I'm feeling really super passionate today. Use this time during COVID to craft your vision for the future and what you really want. Unplug yourself out of the doing, plug into meditation, plug into that quiet time, and all will be revealed to you, my friend. I promise. I hope you guys have a great day on Facebook Live. We're going to be going into some breathing exercises, some chanting now, and then a guided meditation. And we'd love for you to join us. Maybe if you're quick, you can come and join us for this live class, but otherwise you can catch the recording back, or maybe have a look at our timetable for the week ahead. Just simply visit igowithholly.com, and you'll be able to see all of what we're about here. Maybe join us from one of our live upcoming classes. Thank you for joining me all the way through there, Nikki. Thank you so much. I'm sending you love, I'm sending you light, all of you. I love you all so much. Doing what I love every single day. Thank you so much for listening. It means so much to me. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.